Hi, welcome to my build of this 60-inch wingspan Avanti Pattern Plane. Hopefully you've seen some of the build blogs and the maiden flight, but I thought what I would do, now I've had it for a while and flown it for quite a bit, I thought I would do a review of how it performs and things I would perhaps do differently if I was to build it again. I mean, I wouldn't build a plane like this, or actually any plane, without reading some kind of reviews to see what I was going to get at the end and to see whether it was a bit of a turkey or whether it was an eagle. So I thought it'd be really useful just to present something that basically gave you my views on the build and the performance at the end of it. Well, if we look at how it flies first, it flies beautiful. I absolutely love flying this aeroplane, and to be honest, my flying skills are not good enough to do this plane justice, and I'm going to learn a lot flying this plane. It's fast, it's responsive, it goes exactly where you put it. It's just an absolute joy to fly. On the maiden flight, I had the throws that were suggested on the plans, which were absolutely fine for the first couple of flights, but then you felt you needed more out of it. So I increased all of the throws by just a few millimeters, only a small amount, about 1/8 of an inch. I did it on dual rates first, so I could switch back if it wasn't right. And boy did it come alive. It was lovely. I mean, it will climb vertically, it will turn on a sixpence, lovely loops and spins. It's a beautiful plane to fly, and I've never flown anything quite like it. And I mean, that's partially because it's a great plane, but you know, it came in on the build weight, which was good, which was about 2.8 kilograms. Even though I had to put a little bit of weight in the tail, I think it was about just over an ounce, about 40 grams, something like that. So it wasn't a huge amount. It's never a nice thing to do, but it hasn't made any difference, and it just feels as light as a feather when you're flying it. It's lovely. As far as the construction, how would I change it? What would I do? Well, as I've said before, the plans are beautifully created. There is the odd error on them, but they are beautiful sets of plans, and the design is a fantastic design, and it goes together great. The wings originally were held on with elastic bands. I put in the locking mechanism, which hopefully you'll see if you've seen one of the previous videos, and that works fine. It works lovely. The things that I would change are, at the moment I've got a central servo, slightly bigger than I would use and I have used for the elevator and the rudder and the throttle. What I would do is I would do away with that and the snake linkage, and I would put 2 independent servos in each wing. I just think, I've done that on previous builds, and I quite like that as a solution, and I think that would probably be better. So that's one change I would do. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it at the moment. I just kind of prefer that as a solution, I think, having done it like this. So the other thing I would do is, at the moment it's got this Irvine 61 ABC, bags of power, runs lovely, and is just excellent. You really have to shoehorn it in there, but it's ideal for this. But what I would probably do is put in a 50 sized engine, which would give me less weight and just as much power. Something like perhaps the later Irvine 53, the one that's red powder coated. That gives you as much power as this, maybe even a little bit more, but it's in a 40 sized crankcase, 40 sized body, more or less, slightly bigger. And I think that would be really good, because you'd save perhaps getting on for a couple of 100 grams or 150 grams on the way to the engine. I would also change the landing gear, the nose gear, and put in a single leg. It wouldn't save a lot, but it would just save a little bit of weight, which would hopefully offset some of this lead. I suspect you'd still have to put a little bit in the tail. The plane itself is absolutely solidly built. It is really, you get the feeling that you've almost built a tank with this because it's really solid. And you could shape down some of the nose and perhaps lose a few grams, but I'm not sure it would be enough to make any difference. So really, that's it. That's the only changes I would make, is perhaps a slightly smaller but just as powerful engine, the nose gear and the servos. And all I can say is that I absolutely love this plane and it's a joy to fly. And I would recommend you to go and have a look at the build blog and see how nice it is to build, and get yourself an Avanti. You know, whether you do patterns or whether you just, like me, fly around the sky anywhere you want in any direction, you know, these are flipping great planes. So build yourself an Avanti, they're excellent. Well, here now is a very short clip of it flying and it just coming back into land.